can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like $100,000.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs like the founders of P90X, Atari, and many more, and how they overcome big challenges in life and business. This is part of the Prosper Show e-commerce mastery series, where top sellers and experts teach you what really works to boost your e-commerce business. They have an amazing conference with some of the top Amazon sellers and industry leaders like we have today. Our sponsor today is Rise25.com, where entrepreneurs of 6, 7, 8-figure businesses come together live and in person every few months to solve their biggest business challenges and leave with lifelong friendships. Check out Rise25.com. It's run by myself and co-founder John Corcoran. It's application only. Today, I'm very excited. We have Ioan Mitrea. He's founder of SellerEngine. He started selling on Amazon on Thanksgiving Day, 2001, from the attic of an old Victorian house in California. It sounds like a great movie. He founded SellerEngine Software just a year later in 2002 and released the first Amazon repricing and inventory management software. For over 15 years, they've helped thousands of Amazon sellers. The SellerEngine team represents 9 nationalities. They speak 13 languages and work in 3 countries. Ioan, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for inviting us.
Is there any reason to sell something at a loss? Like you're saying, some you sell for a profit, some you sell for a loss. Is there any customer acquisition advantages to selling these items as a loss? Besides, like, let's say you just want to liquidate inventory, obviously you just want to get rid of it, but any customer acquisition advantages to selling at a loss that you see on Amazon?
Right. I mean, in a private label situation that you probably would want to sell at a loss at the beginning just to get people to get your item have a sales rank, because if the item has a certain amount of sales, then Amazon will make it show up higher in search results and so on. So if it's your product and you control it, then you probably there's a business reason for selling at a loss at different periods, at different times.
Yeah.
Now, but as long as you keep track of your costs, you count that as marketing expense, basically. I'm selling it as a loss as a way to increase sales rank, increase awareness, search results, and then I'm counting how much I'm spending and seeing how much if I can get it back by increasing the price later.
Yeah.
So that's what I would see as the reason to sell at a loss for a private label. If you're not in a private label situation, then there's a lot. If you don't control the supply, there's a lot less reasons to selling at a loss. Unless, if it's on Amazon and you're gonna get hit with long-term storage fees, then you may want to sell it, even though you're not getting back all your money, because the alternative is not getting any of your money back, or the alternative is getting hit with a bunch of other fees, or it may be more expensive to get Amazon to destroy it or to ship it back to you than it is to sell it for a lower price. So that would be another reason. And then it depends. I mean, something that people don't necessarily think enough about is that where else can I get value for this item? It's not just Amazon. You may be able to sell it retail, bring it back and sell it retail, where some items are going to do better retail than Amazon. So if you have some sort of wholesale network, some way to sell items in other channels, then that's something to keep in mind. Also, the item may be valuable if you hold on to it. If there's no other big supply coming on, you might be able to hold on to it and then bring it back on the market later. So
yeah.
There's always other options.
Yeah. Ioan, you've been in the Amazon space for a long time now. What are some of the horror stories that you've seen?
Well, I mean, there's always the couple of times that various competitors have managed to have all their customer items priced to a penny. I think it happened at least twice.
What do you mean? What happened?
Well, for some reason, like a bunch of people using a certain software ended up overnight having all their items priced at a penny or something similar. And then, so it was a big mess because first they wouldn't, obviously they would lose a lot of money if they fulfill the orders. If they don't fulfill the orders and they cancel the orders, they get in trouble with Amazon.
Right.
So it's, that's always the nightmare scenario if you have a repricing software. I mean, it hasn't happened to us. So, that's kind of the one thing that, the main thing you have to worry about when you're running a repricing software, that you have the potential to, if you don't.
Did someone do that on purpose? Like they repriced it to a penny so that their competitors, it would go to a penny, or what?
No, I think it was a bug. It's very easy to have bugs, that if you don't have the proper mechanism in place, you can have bugs that have that sort of effect,
Right.
There's, there's always, that's kind of the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
But
because we were talking about account shutdowns too.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that has started to happen a lot more in the last few years compared to what we were used to. So we've sort of acquired over the year a lot of experience, because having a lot of customers use our software, we also hear stories from them. We see what else they have problems with. So when we see that they have problems with their accounts getting shut down, we learn kind of what are the typical problems, and then we are able to help them with things like that.
Yeah.
So in this case, a lot of times people just don't think it's going to be a problem, even though looking from a distance, like, come on, that's pretty clear that you have a problem with that sort of thing,
Like what? What's?
So, they,
because you may see it clearly because you've probably been doing it for so long, and to them it wasn't so obvious, obviously.
Right. Well, they basically, a lot of things have to do with how you get your items and whether or not they're legit, if they're genuine items. If you, this is not happening so much anymore, but at some point people would go and just buy stuff from Alibaba, and then you buy some things from Alibaba and you think that it looks like the right thing, and you think, oh, why should I ask that brand if I can sell? I'm not going to ask the brand if I can sell the product. It's available on Alibaba. I can buy it there and put it on Amazon, and then you get into trouble. It's a lot of cases it's a fake, and it's very hard to find that it's a fake, because you may get a few that look really good, and then you start getting ones where the packaging is all wrong. So one, it's a fake, and two, the brand, you're not an authorized dealer for that brand. The brand has not authorized you to sell. You're not an authorized distributor. You don't have a choice.
Right. It does seem obvious when you say that, yeah. I'm not going to go buy like a bunch of Nike shoes on Alibaba and then sell them but some brand, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, it's tricky because Amazon, there's these two conflicting interests in Amazon. On one hand, they want people to have as much selection as possible, and Amazon doesn't have access to some brands. So sometimes Amazon does events. Like a few years ago, we went to an event that had the top 200 electronic sellers. So there's all the different category managers, subcategory managers in electronics, and each one would go and say, these are the brands you guys should go for because we can't get them. So if you go and get this brand on Amazon, you won't compete with us, with retail Amazon. So you do well. So on one hand, Amazon wants to have as much selection as possible. So, and that, from that point of view, they want people to have brands, especially the brands that they are tight.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they don't want to get in trouble. So if someone complains, they have to do something about it. So, it's a conflicting set of messages. And that's why sometimes people think it's okay because they got away with it for a long time, having sort of a dubious source of merchandise. And all of a sudden they can't get away with it anymore.
Right.
There's all kinds of tricks that people use, and then it works for a while and then it doesn't work anymore.
So I'm looking. So you have Celery, right? So it's a repricer. It automatically reacts to your competitors' price changes. You have the SellerEngine Plus, which manages the FBA shipments on their schedule. It creates print labels, researches new products, and then you have Profit Bandit. So what made you decide to purchase Profit Bandit?
It was basically a natural extension for us to be able to support. We wanted to support people all the way from getting started on Amazon to growing and being a big successful Amazon seller.
Yeah.
So basically, Profit Bandit allows people to understand, to get started and understand the market on their own and run their own little experiments.
Right.
We had that with SellerEngine Plus to some extent, but obviously it's a desktop application that's, it's 10-year-old, it's from 10 years ago. So we got Profit Bandit as a way to allow people to have that initial experience and start to run experiments and see what works.
It's It's more mobile.
Yeah. So it works on iPhone and Android. So basically you can go around anywhere, any trade show, and scan any barcode, it'll tell you this item, it costs this much. You can see in the store or the trade show how much it costs. It will tell you how much profit you'll make if you sell it on Amazon. Because it will automatically retrieve the price from Amazon. It will calculate the profit for you. It will tell you if you sell this item on FBA, this is how much you'll make. And this is the whole retail arbitrage that people have been talking about for a long time. It basically it allows you to start business while doing your daily errands. You go to an outlet store.
You go to like Target or something, you're saying?
Yeah, and people have gone and done things like that everywhere. Office Depot has the clearance aisle, right? So they have some stuff they're getting rid of, or Staples. And you can see that an item, you can see how much the item is. You can scan it. It'll tell you this is how much this item is on Amazon. So that's you're exploiting market inefficiencies. There's things that people are getting rid of in bulk because they can't sell it on their own channel. You take it and put it on a different channel and put it on Amazon.
Right.
So, for example, here in Oregon, we have this chain called Grocery Outlet. So there's the stuff that has stuff that's deeply discounted. It can be anything from food to kitchen stuff to bathroom stuff. And then you find stuff that can be really expensive, but you get it at 30% of the retail price. And you can see the stuff that's quite rare. So if people don't like it here in Oregon, they might like it somewhere else, and they might do really well with it on Amazon.
Right.
So that basically allows anyone to start a business, because you can find an item and you put it on Amazon, and that's it. And you can manage your costs. You know how much you invested in it. If you don't sell it, you can probably use it or whatever you bought. And then, so that was really exciting to me, to seeing all this community of people that are able to get started and have this courage. I can do it too. All it takes is like scan something and it does the math for you, and then you see how it works. And it's not just like retail arbitrage, it's also trade shows. Once you sort of graduate from retail arbitrage, you want to get more serious about it, you can use it to get into items that you're not that familiar with. So you might start, let's say you're really knowledgeable in sunglasses or in books or something. So you've been selling books or you've been selling sunglasses. But now, you have a problem with your supplier, or books are not working anymore. You can transfer your experience of knowing how to sell those categories into other categories by using a tool like this to become familiar with other categories.
So how would someone use it at a trade show? Would they have to be current selling brands that are on Amazon?
Sorry?
Would it have to be current selling brands that are on Amazon that are being sold?
It depends on the trade show. My example of the trade show is either if you're there's two situations. One, you already set up with certain distributors, so you already have relationships with distributors at that trade show, and you've been buying from them. But having a way to scan their product quickly allows you to make a lot more decisions, a lot better decisions. Instead of like going and spending half an hour at a booth, you just scan a few things and see, does that have any chance of working or not? And then now it's worth to have a conversation with that person or not.
Interesting.
And because, for example, you might scan something and see it's not Amazon at all. There's no results. That could actually be a really good situation.
Yeah.
Nobody has this thing, and then you can try to negotiate. Hey, can you give me the exclusive? Here's what I've been doing. Give me the exclusive of carrying just this one product on Amazon or just this one brand. Now, the other situation is where you actually don't know. You don't have a relationship with distributors. You're sort of been doing retail arbitrage, and it's kind of some things are working, some things are not working, and you want to be more serious about it. Then you have the Profit Bandit, other tools like this allow you to have almost the same experience or the same power of judgment as someone who has a lot of experience, because you go and see, okay, this is a good sales rank,
Right.
this price, I can buy this many from you because I rely on this data. I know how this data works because I've tested it with other products, and I can transfer my knowledge in this domain.
So, what happened to the original Chinese guy who started the first software?
Well, we worked together until about 2004 or 2005, and then he sort of got bored because it wasn't growing fast enough for him. He wanted to make more money. He sort of started doing other things. I mean, he still does Amazon-related things, but he sort of made a partnership with another guy who was selling books, and so he just went in a different direction. I was more like, I didn't look at the business from a big enough point of view back then. And so I just wanted to support my family. And then he was like more impatient also. And then it was tricky to agree on a lot of things, like hiring people. And we tried to hire people in China at the beginning because he was in China, and it didn't work. Like, it's hard for him to get along with them or to organize. So it didn't work out.
Did you take it over then?
Yes. So I took it over. Yeah.
Nice. So talk about some of the software and tools you recommend outside of your own. Obviously, you recommend the Profit Bandit, SellerEngine Plus. What other tools out there do you find that are that sellers are using that are helping them in conjunction with yours?
Right. So there's a lot of software for order management, and like printing labels. So Adisha is always a good software, is being very solid from the beginning, and there's other things like ShipStation. So you need something solid that allows you sort of to do that part. And there's things that have to do with more the marketing side, which metrics on your views, and which I'm not as familiar with, but so I don't have anything off the top of my head, but that's something that we haven't really approached yet. But that's something, especially for a private label person, that you would need.
Mm-hmm.
Merchant Word, for example, is a cool tool that I like, and it's also sort of a small company where the founder is approachable. You can talk to them and understand how it works and everything. So there's a lot of tools like that on the Amazon space where basically it starts with someone who's selling and who realizes that there's something very specific need that they can't fulfill, and then they have to use some software for that. So, and then they do the software, and it's very specific. There's Seller Labs. For the people at Seller Labs are cool, and they're the ones that wear white coats at conferences, and they started also selling on Amazon, and then so they know the space very well. I would say basically I would always go with someone who has experience in.
They started with books too, actually.
Yeah. Most people with Amazon, if they've been around long enough, they had to start with books.
Right. That's what Amazon, exactly.
So, and that's the easiest thing to do. So I would say, if you have to choose between sort of a venture capital company that started because someone, had a big business plan, they thought it was a good growing market, versus someone who started because they knew
they had a need.
I what the needs of a seller are, I would go with that person. I would go with someone who's a smaller company who has experience actually selling on Amazon and who is independent. Like we never had venture capital, so we can make our own decisions. We don't have the investor saying, hey, you have to raise your prices, you have to get this many more users because you have to, go public or something, or so we can get our money back.
Ioan, thank you so much for one. This has been very valuable. I have one last question for you. Everyone should check out SellerEngine.com, and they have some really cool products like we talked about, Profit Bandit, Celery, SellerEngine Plus, and they even have some services where you can, I think there's a rescue your account service and international account service and some other things. I wanted to ask you, Ioan, what did we not talk about with the SellerEngine journey that would be important, or SellerEngine in general products that would be important to talk about?
I would say, we talked about it. I would say just, trust yourself and start a business. And that's my main message. And if you're already doing the business, just keep looking for new things and do experiments, run more experiments and try new things. And other things, like we can help you stay out of trouble, basically. On the services side, there's lots of ways to get in trouble on Amazon, and we over the years have figured out how to keep people out of trouble, and that's something we focus on. So we have a lot of people who come to us when their Amazon account got suspended or shut down, but we want to help people before they get to that point. We want to help people figure out how to prevent that by monitoring the right metrics in their account, by establishing the right practices. So that's one thing we're excited about, is to help people take care of those things. It's just kind of a basic insurance for your Amazon account. That, if you buy insurance for your car, for other things, why wouldn't you buy insurance for Amazon account? Because is there anything else in your life that can get shut down and go from $1,000 a day or to nothing? So what's your protection? How you protect yourself against that? And
so you do monitoring of that, or what do you do?
Yeah, we help people, obviously, when there's a problem, we help people by monitoring all the right things. If they sign up with us, we help them do account monitoring, which is we look at all the metrics that are important that Amazon looks at, and we look at all the warnings they get from Amazon. We make sure that either we respond for them or we show them how to respond in the proper way to all the Amazon warnings, all the Amazon notifications, and how to change their practices based on the kind of notifications or warnings they get. Because people get into various habits and they see all these Amazon things and they tend to ignore them.
Right. Because it becomes like white noise.
Yeah. So if you ignore certain things for too long, then you'll get in trouble. It's pretty straightforward. And you might think that all your things are green, all your metrics are okay, but you're ignoring some other things that are important that you shouldn't be ignoring. So that's something we're excited about, that we're able to offer based on our experience over time.
Thank you so much. This is great. Everyone should check. And you're going to be at Prosper Show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, check out SellerEngine.com, and we'll see you at the Prosper Show.
Okay.
All right.
See you. Bye.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like $100 grand.